You are Locked On Dodgers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Thanks for listening on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. I am Pete Fox, host of the Dodgers Postcast, covering sports in LA, dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. Tonight's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. I had another good day wagering on the PGA Championship. That's 3 good wins in a row for me. I just jinxed myself there. But I would love to spend a good 10 or 15 minutes talking about that whole Scotty Scheffler thing at the beginning of the day today in Louisville, trying to get into Valhalla. He ends up getting arrested. Just craziness. Then goes out and shoots 5 under, which makes it even crazier. But we're not here to talk about golf, although that's a great story. We're here to talk about the Dodgers. Another great story. A few things that were a little shaky, but all in all, I think that was a nice win. I started thinking about, 5th, 6th inning when the Dodgers were up 3-0, then 3-1, then 3-2, then 3-3. Reds started chipping away, and I was like, I seem to recall last night discussing the option of how I would like to see the Dodgers lose a tight game. And I'm like, please, not tonight. I will get absolutely barbecued if the Dodgers go out and lose a tight one tonight. Fortunately, they did not. They did put some runs on the board with the long ball, which I think is something you Dodger fans have become very comfortable with and you expect. And when they don't do it, it seems like they have a considerably tougher time winning. And, again, I've said it before, live by the long ball, die by the long ball. But it's nice to see when James Paxton comes out, sets down the Reds in order in the first, and then Mookie Betts leads off the bottom of the first with a home run. Interesting night for Mookie Betts, I would say, because he had a couple of errors. He had 1 error and 1 fumble, but then made a couple of nice plays late in the game. So in that 8th, that slow roller that he came across the diamond to catch and float over to Freddie Freeman at first base was very nice. But the throwing error was not, and the fumble on the double play, it would have been 3 consecutive innings with an inning-ending double play, but Mookie fumbled it away. So I don't know. He's still learning the position. I'm not going to be too terribly hard on him in a win. The throwing error is not what you like to see, but he is getting better and does make a lot of good plays. So you take the good with the bad. I do have something to say about the announcers, and so does Mr. Seabad. Eric Karros's slap in the face to USC Heisman winners in the booth was classic UCLA vengeance. Yeah, he wouldn't do the fight on 2-finger salute. I get it. He's a Bruin, right? It's cool. But I like this new guy. I'm on the fence. Like EK is awesome, right? I mean, he's not great at his job, but he's really good. He's good enough, right? He's an old player. He's a little salty. Everything about EK is great. Nice guy. It's all good. So I'm not going to criticize him. It's this new guy, Steven Nelson. I think he is very smooth, and I like that about him. And he has a personality. But I don't like when he's cheering for the Dodgers. And it's different than being a homer. When he says, after they walked Freddie Freeman in the 8th, and I'd like to hear your thoughts, Craig, Mr. Seabad, BC, if you're there, Roy, the regulars are here tonight, which is cool. Daniel, I like to hear your thoughts on this because they walk Freddie Freeman to get to Will Smith, and then Steven Nelson says, make it hurt, Will. And I'm like, would Vin Scully ever say something like that? That is flat out rooting. And then after Will Smith knocks in the game-winning RBI, he says, keep it going. I'm like, come on. That's not what we do. You can get excited about it, but cheering, like rooting, is what I just am not okay with. And it's funny. Joe Davis, I read an article somewhere like on Google or whatever. I don't know who wrote the article, but Joe Davis and Oral Hershiser get a lot of criticism for being too lackadaisical, too conversational, not enough play-by-play, too much chit-chat back and forth. I'm like, that's what happens when you have two guys in the booth. The reason Vince Scully didn't have a lot of chit-chat is because Vince Scully was chit-chatting with us, right? The audience. So it's a different thing. And of course, Vince Scully is one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest. And in my opinion, he is the greatest because the way he can weave, the stories into the game, and it was so smooth. And the guy, I don't think I ever heard him make a mistake in 60 years. Not that I was listening for 60 years, but he never made a mistake. And that's another thing, just so smooth and never made a mistake, and the dulcet tones and all of that. I don't have a problem with Joe Davis all that much. And Oral at times I think is grasping at straws, trying to be a little too smart for the room. He's definitely knowledgeable, obviously, knows the game. I think he's just trying to be a little too smart sometimes and trying to cover up when the Dodgers do something wrong. He doesn't want to ever call them out for making a mistake or an error or whatever. He's always just trying to, put on a happy face for the audience. But I don't know that they have too much chit chat. I mean, I think they call the game with a ton of stats, a ton of information. And I feel like that's what you're looking for, right? They get excited when they need to, especially Joe Davis. I've always said Joe's a little kind of milk toast for me. He's not terrible by any stretch, but he doesn't get me fired up, right? Even when he's fired up. Now, from Steven Nelson, I get that. I get fired up when there's a home run or something. But I'm growing. Joe Davis is definitely growing on me, but the people that complain about them having too much chit chat is like, come on. I think I'm old and grumpy. And then I hear people saying that kind of stuff. It's like, get over yourself. Welcome to the 2020s. Baseball announcers have chit chat because there's two of them. What else are they going to do? Relax. Anyway, what does Roy say? I love the support for our announcers, as are they not Dodger announcers? You should hear opposing team announcers. I have no issue with the rooting. It's a fair point, Roy. Without a doubt, there are a ton of guys in middle America that are considerably less professional when it comes to being homers and rooting for the team in the middle of the broadcast. Again, I was just saying, I don't think Vince Scully would have done that. And I don't think Joe Davis would have even done that. I thought that little thing was like rooting after the fact. I'm okay with cheering, if you will, but encouraging. Come on, man, let's go. We need a hit right here. That kind of stuff. That's not what announcers are all about. That's what we do, right? As we're watching the game. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. No problem with any of them. I would give him a C- on that particular call of the Will Smith. But when Will Smith got the RBI single, he was fantastic. That was great. It was just that one little line before Will Smith got that hit. What does Mr. Seabat have to say? And then we'll hit the break. Most of us could not be broadcasters. It's hard to navigate the airwaves and be consistently entertaining, without a doubt. And I commend Major League Baseball announcers that do that many games, because doing this thing, I do a half an hour and I'm doing 140. Those guys are doing 140 to 150 of 9 innings of baseball, 2.5, 3 hours of baseball. It is a lot. So it's a grind, because guess what? I'm at my house. Those guys are at the stadium half of the time, and then the other half of the time they're on a plane in another city, in another state. So that is a grind that most people cannot relate to. And yes, you're right. They absolutely should be commended for what they do. Paying attention to the game, making it relatable and entertaining, without a doubt. It's not easy at all. All right, Dodgers with a 7-3 win. We'll get to the Diamond Dogs list right after this. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel and on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. All right, tonight's show is brought to you by Game Time. What is Game Time? Well, it is a killer way to buy tickets and save money. With last-minute deals, all-in pricing, you get views from your seat, which is huge. I love that because you don't have to worry about whether or not you're too far out or too high up or whatever. They show you what you'll be seeing from your seat. They have the best price guarantee, and Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. They also have something that is huge for you if you have a tight pocketbook. They are obsessed with finding you ways to save money. Game Time has deals on tickets right up until the start of the game. You can save up to 60% if you're willing to wait, let's say, an hour before the game. Let's say you live close to the stadium and you can do that. It will save you a ton of money. I mentioned that last night I saw tickets for tonight's Dodgers-Reds game at around $31, which is a total steal. Tomorrow it's a little bit more, but still you could find tickets to the game under $50. You don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All right, Dodgers with a 7-3 win to snap that 2-game losing streak. Almost three inning double plays. It ended up being 2. That was nice to see. Let's talk about James Paxton for a little bit. I looked at his performance tonight, and I felt like this is what we see from him quite regularly. I originally had a feeling that he wasn't good. He wasn't bad. He did give up 2 home runs and 3 runs, but there are a lot of positives in his outing. This is the bend, don't break James Paxton. Came away with no decision because he did give up a game-tying home run in the Stevenson hit that game-tying home run. I believe it was the 6th inning. So he comes away with no decision, a 375-footer. He gave up a 405-footer to Fairchild in the 5th inning, and then India scored on that Mookie Betts error. So he really only gave up 2 earned runs. No, they call it an earned run. The 3rd run was earned. So 3 earned on 7 hits, just 2 Ks, 2 home runs. You don't love seeing that, but I do like seeing no walks. No walks, and his stuff seemed to be sharp. Hitting the zone with the fastball, the breaking ball was working. And all in all, I feel like, yeah, I mean, that's what you need. He went into the 7th, didn't get an out, but they at least gave him the opportunity, which was nice. And Michael Grove came in, 1K, the rest zeros. That was awesome. And then Blake Trinan, it's just, his stuff is so filthy. He's out of this world in many ways. As a baseball pitcher and as other things too. But today and his first 5 starts have been phenomenal. I mean, that ball, they kept calling it a Frisbee. Or the wiffle ball analogy makes more sense to me. If you've ever watched any of these guys that have these Instagram channels playing wiffle ball, that's what Blake Trinan's, whatever it is, cutter, slider, looks like. It is just unhittable. And consequently, 7 pitches today. His ERA is still 0. So 1K, which is surprising. I just don't understand why they don't give him the ball in the 9th. Are they still trying to get him ready for the 9th? What's up there? But that's nice to see. He's dominant, got the hold, his 3rd. Grove gets the win, and Daniel Hudson would have gotten the save, but Shohei came in and went deep. So let's get to the bucket list, also known as the Diamond Dogs list here on the Dodgers Postcast for number 5. Of course, we got to start with Mookie Betts. His leadoff home run, that is got to be a good feeling. His 8th home run of the season, but a more staggering couple of numbers are how many leadoff home runs Mookie Betts has in his career. 31 with the Dodgers and 51 overall, which is good for 5th all time. So he is fantastic in that leadoff spot. I know early in the season, one of the Dodgers' first homestands, I was contemplating mixing up the lineup. I sure hope I didn't say anything about taking Mookie Betts out of the leadoff spot. I might have. So shame on me. I think I was suggesting that we put Ohtani in the leadoff spot because he gets on base so much and does not knock in runs. Well, he has quickly changed that tone and righted the ship when it comes to getting base hits with runners in scoring position and RBIs and so forth. So the top three in this lineup, let's just leave it right here until it starts to go bad for quite a while, which I don't ever see happening. I feel like they're going to keep this up all year, knock on wood, as long as they're healthy. Number 4, home run number 13 for the aforementioned Shohei Ohtani. It was a first pitch opposite field home run, just like the one I saw in person in Arizona. I don't know. It was at Camelback, I believe. He hit one that was up and out, and he hit it opposite field. And it just goes to show you how strong this guy is. That's exactly what he did tonight. It was up and out, and he blasted it down the left field line. And that is pure and absolute strength. But the rest of the night was a little bit shaky for Shohei Ohtani. Ground ball to first in the first, somewhat weakly, and then the home run. Then he struck out, which wasn't pretty, and then a fielder's choice, which he absolutely smoked that ball. So the first baseman for the Reds made a hell of a play, Candelario, because that ball was blasted easily over 100. Number 3 on the Diamond Dogs list, Gavin Lux, leadoff single in the 6th, came on a first pitch, and he torched that. He's starting to find it, not over 200 yet, but he's hitting balls hard. So that's good to see. Number 2, Kike Hernandez, leadoff base hit on the 7th. After being down 0-2, he worked the count full and then got a base hit. He had 2 hits on the night, which is nice to see. Of course, the Dodgers made some player movement today, sent some guys down, acquired a player, put somebody on the IL. We'll get to that here in just a minute after we wrap up the Diamond Dogs list. And the number 1, Will Smith, the RBI single in the 7th. First pitch, 4-seam fastball. He's now batting .327, or he was coming into that at bat, with runners in scoring position. And of course, honorable mention to Jay Hay, called back up after missing 40 games, a 2-run homer in the 8th, got one down and a little bit in, and he turned on it and just launched it into the right field bleachers down the line there. Had to feel good for him. First game back in 40 games to hit a home run. That was pretty cool to see. And we've all been saying it. You guys have been saying it for weeks, that the second Jason Heyward is ready, James Outman is going to be sent down to AAA. And in fact, he was. So it's unfortunate, but we all saw it coming. I texted his uncle today. How's James feeling? How is he? How's it going? You know, what's his mood? What's his attitude like? And he was like, he's fine. He gets it. And, you know, he's a Major League Baseball player. He's just in a horrible funk. And the term that my buddy used was, it'll be good for him to get out of the pressure cooker that is the Los Angeles Dodgers. And, you know, the big club, with the pressure that's on this team to do big things this year. So it all makes sense. There was speculation. I mean, he brought it up right away that, you know, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if he gets traded. So I would hate to see that. I feel like he is a good baseball player. He's definitely a solid center fielder. He's just in such a horrible funk right now at the plate. His head is considerably in the way. It is dominating everything he does at the plate. So going down to AAA, Oklahoma City, he'll get some at-bats and hopefully rebuild his confidence, and we might see him again. It's hard to say what comes of these things. I know that they like him. I know that the Dodgers are not afraid of moving people around, and they put people on the IL quite frequently. Like Max Muncy was on the IL today, I believe 10 days with an oblique strain. They called up Vargas to play outfield. Martinez, the pitcher who suffered the loss last night, was sent down as well to AAA, optioned, and then they acquired a guy who I didn't know and didn't write his name down. But a lot of player movement today for the Dodgers, and having Jason Heyward back is nice. It's good to see, and he's a stud. 15 home runs last year. Let's hope we get something close to that from him this year. What does Roy have to say? This is the beauty of having Ohtani, Freeman, and Smith behind you. Yeah, for Mookie Betts, without a doubt. I mean, Mookie Betts 1 for 4 today, scored twice because he walked. He's batting .341. Ohtani's average down a couple of points, I believe. 3. He's at 358 now. Freddie Freeman, 288. He was 0 for today, but did score a run. Will Smith, 1 for 3. He's batting 315. Teoscar, 1 for 4. Gavin Lux, 1 for 4. Andy Pajes, 1 for 4 with a run scored that came on the Jason Heyward home run. That was nice to see because he has without a doubt been scuffling. He has been in a funk, and you could tell he's in a funk because every time he comes up to bat, he's got a different set of batting gloves on, a different color. There was even a few times when he came up with no batting gloves. He was like, well, if the red ones don't work, I'm going to try the blue ones. If the blue ones don't work, I'm going to try the gray ones. If the gray ones don't work, I'm going to try no batting gloves. I don't know what other colors he could use. Maybe the Kike Hernandez shoes color, that neon yellow. That would be cool. I mean, I guess he could go, deep into the rainbow of batting glove colors, but gray, blue, red, maybe white, traditional. That might be something he will switch to. But yeah, it was good to see him get that base hit there in the bottom of the 8th inning. He needed that and roped one into left field. All right, Dodgers with a 7-3 win, snapping a 2-game losing streak, beating the Reds, who are now 19-26, 10-13 on the road. Dodgers, their 30th win of the season, 30-17, 16-9 at home. I am Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. We come in and break it down, and then Jeff and Vince do the Locked On Dodgers podcast Monday through Friday. So I think they'll do one tonight, which will be up for you tomorrow. I'm pretty sure they've been doing them live a lot lately, which is cool as well. So maybe check that out after we're done here, which will be in about 7 or 8 minutes. So we'll hit the final break and come back and wrap this 7-3 win up as the Dodgers get back on track, hitting the ball 7 through 9. Yes, we like to see that, don't we? All right, tonight's show also brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book because right now new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets with a $5 win. You can bet on all your favorites: NBA postseason, NHL postseason, Dodgers, baseball across the board, pitchers, total bases. They even throw in fantasy score options there for you. You can make same game parlays, exclusive props, and a whole lot more. I know I'm having a great time wagering on the PGA Championship, and I am on a little streak right now, so let's hope I can keep it rolling again tomorrow. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. All right, Dodgers a 7-3 win for their 30th win of the season. Left 6 runners on base, 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Teoscar Hernandez 0 for 1, Ohtani 0 for 1, Will Smith 1 for 1, and Gavin Lux 0 for 1. Let's look at those first pitch batters faced numbers for James Paxton. 14 first pitch strikes in 24 batters. Pretty good. Trinan 3 for 3, Hudson 2 for 3, and Grove 1 for 2. Called strikes, swinging strikes, foul balls, balls in play. For James Paxton, 12 called strikes, 8 swinging strikes, 17 foul balls. That means he was living around the zone, and that's not what you like to see. But I did feel like he had good action on the ball, and sometimes it's not that bad to put balls in play. That's kind of what he does. Bend, don't break. That's that. Craig coined that phrase for James Paxton. 22 of his pitches were in play. So defense backed him up for the most part. He did give up 2 home runs. Ground balls versus fly balls. Paxton had 9 ground balls, 6 fly balls. So that means he's keeping the ball down, and we want ground balls over fly balls any time of the day. Mookie Betts, like I said, how do we feel about his shortstop play? I think it's good. It's not great, but that's not what we care about with Mookie Betts. We care about his offense. So if he at least is above average, and I don't think it matters what we think. Well, I know it doesn't matter what we think, but I don't feel like this is a topic of discussion with the Dodgers. They are locked in on Mookie Betts at shortstop. That is the way that it goes. Just like the Reds are more than likely locked in with Ellie De La Cruz at shortstop for them. How about his night last night compared to tonight? So a win for the Dodgers tonight, 0 for 4 De La Cruz with 2 Ks, no stolen bases, obviously, because he didn't get on base. But last night, man, that dude was on fire. 4 for 4 with 4 stolen bases. I spent too much time grousing about how the Dodgers did absolutely nothing offensively, defensively. It was just a snore of a game. I could have spent at least a segment praising Ellie De La Cruz because he was absolutely on fire. 4 for 4 at the plate, which is a career high for him, and then 4 stolen bases, which is another career high for him. So he was lighting it up. Had a throwing error today, so wasn't quite the same. He couldn't back it up, and I guess that's one of the things you get from a youngster. 270 batting average, 370 on base percentage, and he's slugging it at 503. That guy he is the real deal, and he's fun to watch for sure. I marvel at how big he is playing shortstop. How tall is that guy? Is he 6'4"? He could be bigger if you ask me. I don't know. 6'5", 200 pounds. That's a lot for a shortstop, right? And what if he's got? I guess if he dives, he can cover a lot of ground. What does Roy say about Mookie? He's trying, but needs to move back to second base. Miggy to shortstop. Well, where are you going to put Gavin Lux then, Roy? Gavin Lux is hitting the ball better than Miggy. So I don't know. I mean, the Dodgers and Dave Roberts do that. They move him around quite a bit there. They give Miggy his time, and they give Gavin Lux the night off, and then they move Mookie to second. It happens a fair amount. I mean, every 3 or 4 days, that is the deal. And who knows? That could potentially be part of the issue with Mookie Betts, that he's not really settling in at shortstop because they keep moving him over to second base. So I don't know. I'm not going to complain about it now. I do have in the back of my head a tad bit of concern about how it's going to look in the postseason, but that is a long way off from right now. As long as the Dodgers bullpen keeps doing what they've been doing of late, then I don't think we're going to have any problem. As Blake Treinen continues to throw that wiffle ball, cutter, slider, whatever that sweeper, whatever the heck it is, the Dodgers are going to be just fine in the postseason. Tonight, a comfortable 7-3 win. Jason Heyward returns after 40 games off and goes deep, which is nice to see. And the Michael Grove got the win. James Paxton, a quality start. Technical term, not an opinion. A quality start. So good stuff from him. Not great, but good enough. And 7-3 win is what you like to see. Confident, no sweat going into the ninth. Daniel Hudson took care of business and slammed the door. No save because they didn't bring the tying run to the plate. So Dodgers win it. They will play game 3 tomorrow. Series still in the balance because they've split the first 2. So could go anywhere. It's a 4-game series. I think the Reds have shown up admirably thus far. Let's hope that nobody gets arrested at the PGA Championship, especially not Scotty Scheffler. Who knows? It seemed to work out okay for him today. He went 5 under par after getting thrown in handcuffs, run down to the Huskow, put in an orange jumpsuit, released. He was released at 8:40 a.m. Eastern. He teed off at 10:08 Eastern and shot 5 under 66. That is remarkable. Oh, that is gangster, as all my friends have been saying today. Dodgers, the 7-3 win, their 30th win of the season. Thank you all for joining me here tonight on the Locked On Dodgers postcast. Thanks for the comments as usual. We will check you again tomorrow. And don't forget to listen to Jeff and Vince on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Have a good night. We will talk again tomorrow.